11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Captain, a vessel approaching.
On screen.
We're being hailed.
Every weekend over at gearwebsites.com, our online store, we have free Patch Friday. And that means that every order placed on our store on Fridays is going to include at least one free patch. So that's every order with no coupons, no minimum order, no codes needed. You place the order on Friday, and when it arrives to you, it's going to have at least one free patch. Your support means a lot to us, and financial support is critical. So thanks again to the people who keep us online through purchases at gearwebsites.com.
Wow, my computer is really acting up today. So we'll try to do this here. And welcome everybody to joining us already. We're broadcasting on all the different places out there that we can broadcast. And I think I've got my screen sharing here. And eventually I'll get this to pop over here. Like I say, my computer's acting up. It's been acting up all day, so it's probably broken. We're going to be taking a look back at what happened this week for the 2A. And we'll be doing that from my history here. So this is the YouTube history as it starts to show up on the screen here. It's waiting for it to populate here. So let's go ahead and say hey to some of the people that are joining us today. How do we have 21 comments already? So we've got a couple of things going on over on the YouTube side. Like say we're broadcasting on multiple. Am I even in here? Yeah, I'm in here, right? We're broadcasting on multiple channels tonight. Let's see if I stop screen sharing, if my computer will act better. I'm closing down everything. I can't really close anything else down. It's just the stuff that we need for the show. So we'll see what happens. But we do have a couple of things going on the YouTube side. One thing, I guess I need to... Oh my God, why can't this thing even stop? Wow, this is really messed up. I can't even get the thing to pop open like the poll over here. So we have a poll going. You can vote in the poll. How was this week for the 2A? It was a great week. It was a good week. It was an okay week. Or it was a bad week. And then we've also got a goal over there. That's a new thing that YouTube has created. And whenever I can get my computer to kind of catch up with what I'm clicking on here, maybe I'll try to screen share that. But we have a goal to get 10 super chats, and we've already gotten 2 of them. So thanks for that. 10 super chats will trigger some amazing things. So if you want to see some amazing things happen live, then 8 more super chats, and we're headed in that direction. Weston sent out a gift membership. I don't know if anybody's ever done that before, so thanks for that. Can I highlight that over here? Well, I can highlight the super chats too. I can, and it looks like Patriot is the one who got that gift membership, so very cool. Glad that Patriot got that one, since Patriot super chatted a second ago. So before we get the show going here, let's address these super chats. Thanks for these. Actually, I'm going to jump up to Mike White. He was the first one. Threw a $10 super chat out there. Thank you very much. For the Pup Fund, remember, every second matters. Yep, it is every second matters. FYI, when you spell out the word second, the reason we didn't do it that way is 2 reasons. 2A, right? Like Second Amendment, most of us write 2A. But the real reason, the big reason, is when you spell it out like that, there's already an organization that exists, and it's for battered wives in Canada. And it's kind of a group of wives that help each other. So we didn't want to overstep or confuse the issue. So Just an FYI, it's we use this 2ND for every second matters. But thanks for the super chat, much appreciated. And the opportunity to talk about every second matters. We'll definitely be talking about that tonight. I had a project in mind, since we usually end the show quicker than the half an hour that I'd rather go. But then Patriot threw a $10 super chat out there. And he also asked a question. So how do you like that AKM wood? It's reproduction stuff from APS Firearms. Do you find any new skull patches? Actually, I have 3 skull patches sitting in a drawer for you, and a couple of stickers if you want them. But I just have to remember to send stuff. I have a bunch of stuff to send to people. As I've been rearranging some things here, I'm now to a point where I can get to all my packaging stuff and my scales and the stuff that I'm kind of comfortable with for shipping. So I'll get some of this stuff shipped out sooner than later, hopefully. But I do have some skull patches for you. Thanks for the super chat. Let's see. Then Weston threw out the gift membership. So that's essentially throwing out free money, because I think our memberships cost hundreds of dollars, I think. So thanks for that. Patriot got the membership, it looks like. And then Weston also threw out a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. So we're like, what, halfway to that goal already? That's pretty cool. So I don't know. I've put the goal up a couple of times before, but nobody's ever even, I think Mike White's done some super chats out there before, but we've never gotten that close to achieving it. DJ just threw out a $1 super chat. Thanks for that. DJ is one of the people who I have a bunch of stuff for in a pile. There's like a box. I have a bin of boxes, and like Gizzard has some stuff in there. Foz has some stuff in there. I don't know if DJ has an address now for us to send stuff to or not. Maybe he does. All right, so go back and say some of these regular chats. Mike White was the first one out there saying hey. And Gabriel was out there also for the show. Welcome. And then I think we got started a little bit late tonight. I was screwing around and then trying to get everything set up over on Instagram. I always blame Instagram because it's the most tedious of things to set up. What I did today, though, is set it up to only subscribers can watch. So we won't get like the random weird names I've never seen before show up and not say anything, which I consider weird. So I'd rather chat with people who actually subscribe to the channel. And then Patriot was talking about toys. I finally got figured out what you were talking about there. We were watching Matt's chat earlier. I watched that new Marvel movie. I don't know really much about the Marvel blah 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 universe and all that. Like, I don't really pay that much attention. I watched the movies. This one was okay. It was a bunch of like B characters. So I was curious when Matt was talking about it in his chat if that thing was really from the comic books. It just seemed like it was a bunch of made up shit. But I guess it is from comic books, so comic books are weird. Woods is out there. Welcome. DJ's also out there. Welcome. Weston, let me see. Am I missing anybody? I think I saw Chris was out there. Yeah, Chris from 740 saying hey to everybody. And that might be everybody now. So if you're out there and you didn't get your name, then that's because you didn't say nothing, and we'll keep going. So I'm going to try going back to screen share over here and bring that up completely. And now will it work? Yeah, now I'm seeing stuff. All right, so this is this show. I guess we can unlock it from the screen, make it way bigger, and then stretch this over. Now that I've got 3 monitors again, I can do stuff like this a little easier. There we go. So there's the show that is happening right now that everybody's watching. Puppy's editing the show. For people that don't know, the thumbnail is just a snapshot that the puppy takes right before the show. He's over there being the producer over on the back porch. And that's the view from our back porch. Let's see. So yesterday was Thursday, what's going on? See, my computer's acting goofy again. It's not reacting to my mouse here, I guess. Wow, it's all over the place. So maybe it's because I have it zoomed in too much, maybe. A lot of other shows don't have this kind of production problems, but they also aren't being produced by a little dog. He's probably sleeping. He's sleeping right now. So I'll just try doing it this way again. No, it's not going to work. Is it? No, it's jumping like 3 videos at a time. So my computer's really not doing well today. It does okay, and then I think, no, I don't need to replace it. And then it acts like this, and I think, well, I should have replaced this thing a long time ago because it's crappy. But then I go to do other stuff, and it works okay, so I'm like, I don't need to replace it. It's fine. But then, of course, when we're live, that's when it acts crappy. So we'll try scrolling up again and seeing if it works. Okay, so we'll start again. It looks like the next one in the list is unapologetically armed. The Missouri legislature passing HB 726, giving citizens recourse against preemption violations. So we don't have many people out there that are actually boots on the ground, right? They're actually showing up in testimonials, showing up to either support the good stuff or resist the bad laws. Unapologetically Armed is one of the Women for Gun Rights representatives in Missouri. She is one of the ladies that puts her boots on the ground, puts her butt in the seat to show up at these court, or what would you call them, like committee meetings where the state level legislature is debating firearms related issues. Her particular focus is on the restriction or the removal of restrictions on our right to carry in public transportation, which in Missouri is an issue. So she's particularly focused on that. And of course, gun-free zones. She's led the fight on removing gun-free zones from Missouri and other places. But she's also just an advocate in general. So in this case, I guess this House Bill 726, Senate Bill 74, were to give people a recourse against preemption violations, state preemption, and cities creating bad laws or laws that violate the Constitution or our rights. And sounds like the Missouri voted against that. So unfortunately, but she documents it, and not just shows up, but documents it, and that's obviously possible. So it'd be awesome to see more people doing this, more people taking a camera along when they do this. Of course, more people doing it would be awesome. She's not the only one out there, but she's one that's participated in our projects in the past and is I consider part of our community. So it's awesome to see this happening on a consistent basis. If you're looking for people to promote, if you're looking for people to support, Unapologetically Armed is definitely one of them. Next up, I was just watching this video a little bit earlier from the Arizona Game and Fish. We have, I forget what it says, 286 wolves now in Arizona. We were down to 7 wolves in the United States for a while in the 70s, in the 80s or something like that, 70s. 7 wolves. We've gotten them up to 286. There's a lot of people, cowards and losers, that hate wolves, but people that can handle predators in the wild find it interesting when we're able to bring species back from the brink of extinction. So this was a pretty neat 9-minute focus on this year's efforts to find, because a bunch of them have collars. They try to have 2 collars in every pack. So if you think about it, a boy and a girl wolf have babies, and then the boy and a girl wolf's babies grow up and they go off and do their thing. So now you have new packs, right? So those babies go out and meet other babies and they become mommy and daddy wolves. So they try to have 2 collars in every pack. So every year they go out and attempt to do that. And this was an interesting kind of documentary of a 4-hour period of time this year where they tagged, or a 4.5-hour period of time where they tagged 4 wolves from 4 different regions. They take them in by helicopter, shoot them with darts, and then bring them in with helicopter to the place, do their medical stuff, put the new tags on them, and then drive them back out where they found them. It's a pretty interesting process. That's Arizona Game and Fish doing that. Then you got, I was saying, me and Yankee and Matt were on the other day. I guess I brought up the idea of 100 gorillas 100 people in one gorilla. I'm assuming everyone has heard of that by now. But if you haven't, feel free to chime in if you think who would win, 100 gorilla, 100 people, or one gorilla. Both of them, Matt and Yankee, agree that people would win. There's a lot of people that don't think people would win, though. Let's see. DJ's putting some numbers out there. Got the, what's this? White House comments. I didn't know you were putting that one out there. When did you start putting that one out there? This one I'm down with. Wait, where's the contact? This one. The Capitol switchboard, I think representatives will listen. Well, I know they'll listen to us, and I think there's definitely use in knowing how to do that, being comfortable calling your representatives, and even being on a first name basis with your representatives is not unheard of. It's commendable, really, when we're talking about Second Amendment issues. Connecting with them online, is not as good. It's better than nothing, I guess. What is this? I thought they both used the same page, but DJ's putting both the Senate and the House. But the White House thing, I don't know about that one. The White House, what was that thing called? That was Obama started that. And a lot of people hated it because Obama did it. And then, I don't know. So I'm curious about that one, what people think about that one. Let's see. Then we got the Supreme Court. I don't know what the point of that one is, because we can't really influence the Supreme Court. At least I don't think they listen to anybody, right? But that's interesting, I guess, to follow whatever, see when they're going to do stuff. And then refer to your state government. That's pretty good. I wonder if there's a federal resource for all the state resources. I mean, it's a waste of time, but that's the kind of shit the federal government does, right? So I wonder if that's a thing. David's out there. I just got the birds and the bees conversation on a 2A channel. There you go. I watched all of the Planet of the Apes reboots this week. Interesting. That sounds like a challenge. Wait, you're saying just the reboots? So just the ones, I forgot what that first one was, but that first one where the monkey starts talking because he does some kind of drugs. I don't know. I only watched like a couple of those. So I don't like the ones where I have to read the text like it's some kind of foreign movie. So I haven't watched a couple of them because of that. But it might be an interesting challenge. How many people have seen all the Planet of the Apes reboots? I don't know what Barbecue is saying. So is that a typo? Let's see. Got to start calling Missouri State or Missouri Senate about that. Let's see. It is every second matter, so there's no. I don't want to discourage anybody from call to actions, but I guess I was going to say, wouldn't it be nice if there were some way for people to tag call to actions so that people would know where action is needed? So people that are interested in participating with momentum, know where to focus it. And then, yeah, that would be an interesting thing, as I'm thinking about how to do every second matters going forward. That's an interesting aspect to it. DJ saying, I dropped the White House contact info sometimes. It was the full boat tonight. Right on. Hopefully DJ has those like in a copy and paste thing, so he's not typing those every time. If he's typing them every time, then you're going to get arthritis in your thumbs, dude. All right, so with that being said, we do have the poll going. I'm going to try to bring the poll over here, and let's see if it works. I'm screen sharing, right? So let's try to bring the poll up. Will it do it? There's the super chats. Look at all them super chats. Thanks for the super chats. We do have a goal tonight in addition to the poll. So if you want to see amazing things happen, just throw money at the screen. Just throw money at YouTube. It's no big deal. You give $10 to the channel. YouTube takes $3. And then we do amazing things with that other $7. So, how was this week for 2A? We're getting 21% for great. Good gets 50%. Okay, 21%. And 7% bad week. So feel free to justify the bad week. Maybe you live in a state where you're getting clobbered. Maybe you are aware of something that people aren't paying attention to, or something else, right? I'm going to put, I guess, there's no point in putting a link in here. I was going to say, I put a link in Instagram. Nobody's on Instagram because it's only for subscribers and they don't watch. But I was going to try to put a link in X so that they could come over to YouTube. Artak is out there. Welcome. Let's see. DJ says, in the new ones, they use sign language, though, and I know maybe 30 words. I prefer the subtitles. The reboot started in 2011. There have been 4. Oh, there's only 4? I thought there was more like 6 at this point. Then maybe I've only missed one, because I have watched a bunch of them. I think I might have actually watched all of them then. No, I'm definitely not watching monkeys do sign language. I don't believe in monkey sign language. Monkey sign language is like getting a robot AI. What's the difference? Huh? What's the difference between monkey sign language, or, teaching monkeys how to talk to each other, or robot AI? It's the same thing. You don't want either one happening. Right. Is it Raymond? Welcome. All right, well, let me get back to it. So we did have that conversation, like say both Yankee and Matt agree that humans would beat a gorilla no matter what. I think it's more like 10 humans, maybe 20 humans could take out a gorilla. It would take a couple of humans, but I was listening to somebody break it down, and a gorilla is used to running up on something with a bunch of bluster and noise and, making a bunch of ruckus. And everything that's in its path is going to get scared shitless and run away. But then it's done. What does it know how to do? It fights another gorilla, but that's about it. So it's not used to fighting. You could probably take out a gorilla pretty easy if you're used to fighting. And a couple of people, for sure, especially because we can communicate with each other. You'd go low or go high, or like I'll grab its arms and you grab its legs or something like that. But anyway, we'll eventually see it. We'll eventually see some kind of YouTuber do that. Blue to Green podcast is good podcast from here in Arizona. This is a guy that was a cop, and then now he's working with Arizona Normal, marijuana organization. So Blue to Green means police to marijuana. And in this case, he's talking to a doctor who, after being a nurse for a long time, got rid of her nursing credentials so that she could become a medicinal cannabis advocate. So that's a pretty interesting conversation for an hour and 20 minutes, if you want to listen to that one. Come on. Then we come down to Ironclad. I won't tell you how much I don't like their editing. We'll just talk about the shows this week. Oh my goodness, look at how bad. What's worse, their editing or my ability to scroll tonight? It jumps like 6 videos every time I scroll. So this was an interesting one. This was a conversation with a guy, I think he's just a reporter. But he might have been somebody else. I think he's just a reporter. But talking about a money laundering situation where the cartels kind of took over a cattle operation in Kentucky that had 3,000 cattle, but they kept reporting it as like 27,000 cattle or something like that. And they would just move these cows around and get all kinds of extra loans. And they did all kinds of craziness to launder money for the cartels. And then as it got to be kind of, the ends were coming loose on the whole thing, then they just cut loose and stole tons and tons of money. So it's an interesting conversation and another aspect of the cartels that people aren't paying attention to, since the cartels have long left being just in drugs or anything. And we're discovering with changes in law enforcement and stuff, the roots of some of the crime we see here in the United States, which is interesting too. It'll be interesting to, in a few years, to go back with 2020 hindsight and see how much of the stuff they blamed on gun owners because of guns was shit like this. You think these cartels laundering billions. It was like $8 billion laundered through this one ranch in Kentucky, like billions of dollars. You think there's no violence associated with that? And the antis, are they going to look at something like that, like cartels, CJNG, or are they going to blame it on gun owners? Peaceful gun owners who are going to, take the abuse. It's bullshit. So anyway, we'll keep going. Then you get to mic drop. Let's see, which one was this? This is a pretty good conversation, actually. There's a chunk of this. This was a guy who went in to be a SEAL, got kind of sick or something, like stuff happened to him. I think his existing health issues came to light while he was in Hell Week of being a SEAL. And he went through it, but he really wasn't doing well at the end. So he ended up getting dropped from the Navy with health issues, because of the health issues, and he didn't want to go back into the regular Navy, so he just left. And then his path ended up taking him to be a Green Beret, and then he ended up going to serve a couple of tours, and then he's still in. He just got out, so he's been like 20-year Green Beret. And he gets to a point about 3/4 of the way into this one. I'm going to go back. I just listened to this one today, so I'm going to go back and find the piece and make it into what do they call these, like a clip or whatever, because he does a great analogy. Let me just see if I can find it. Can I find it that fast? I'm not going to be able to find it that fast with my computer being a jerk, but wonder if I could find it on my other computer and then just play it really loud. But he basically gets to a point where he's talking about I don't even know what channel I have this one on. He's saying about mental health with soldiers, and you can apply this to anybody. So mental health, right? Well, if you've got a machine or a tool, you're going to get warning lights. Let's say if you don't change the oil, or if you run it too hot, or if you're running out of fuel, right? You're going to get warning lights on the dashboard. And he talks about the things like drinking and getting upset or having anxiety, or the symptoms that people have that are attributed to the different traumas that people might get from the military or emergency services, or just living a life. But he attributes those symptoms as the lights, that the warning lights. And I'm saying it poorly, but I thought that was a great way to think of it, or a great way to get it across to people that, again, I kind of always say that, we don't have a problem talking about broken arms. I lost a tooth because I got hit in the face and I lost a tooth. Or I fell down and my tooth fell out and I had to go to the dentist and they put it back in. I couldn't chew tobacco for a week or something. We'll have that conversation all day. No stigma to it at all. Maybe the tobacco part of it had stigma. That's about it. But the, you say something like, the loud noise made me think of that time when I saw something horrible, and it, I don't like remembering that. And now I'm scared of I'm concerned about hearing another loud noise and having that happen. And, what do I do about that? Or, I'm doing this about it. I wonder if that's the right thing to do. Like, we don't have those conversations yet. We're not comfortable. It's not part of the conversation. We're just not accustomed to it. So people like Brooke Cheney, who have a show every Saturday afternoon, Mental Health Matters, are working to change that. But until then, interviews like this one, people like Jeff are, making strides towards normalizing that conversation, and that awareness of that element of high risk jobs or high stress jobs. All right, so moving on, we'll get to the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. I'm a big fan of them. I did not watch this video. It was an hour and 20 minutes of them talking to Michael Bain, which I don't know. You can listen to Michael Bain if you want. I'm not listening to him. Then you get to Gun Owners of America, talking to this guy, Representative Andrew Clyde. That's the guy with that Vickers machine gun in his office. And in this conversation, they're talking about a bill that would gut the NFA. So it's the SHORT Act, Stop Harassing Owners of Rifles. And I don't know, it's a way to get rid of the NFA tax, saying that the tax on a constitutional right isn't constitutional. So got nothing against it. We'll see if it goes through. And GOA putting out a 5-minute video with Eric hanging out with the fancy suit in the guy's office. How many videos did they film that day? That's the second or third one that we've seen. So just saying, everybody got mad at the NRA. What'd they do? Were they making videos? I don't know. Next up is Ironclad again, and this is a different one. So Ironclad is a production company, and they do 2 or 3 like projects or channels, I guess, that I like, or their channels. They're all on the Ironclad channel, but they're different series, I guess, on there. This one, Change Agents, is pretty good. This one was with Mike Rowe, the guy that did that one show, and this was a pretty good conversation. And mostly it was about the idea that there's 7,900, I think he says, jobs that are paying over $100,000 in the trades, and we got all these people that could use that money. So Mike Rowe is trying to facilitate that. So I thought that was kind of neat. I'm assuming people watch that show. I've seen the show. I never sat down and watched it for any length of time. Oh, DJ put a link up for Brooke's show on Saturdays for her channel on Saturday. You can watch that on Saturdays. If you want to promote something, that's definitely worth your time to promote. Not a lot of people are trying to normalize or make the conversation about mental health more comfortable and normal for us to bring up in conversations with ourselves and with those people that hate our property and our rights. So next we get Guns for Everybody, Guns for Everyone up in Colorado. And I was curious about this one because it said that, what does it say? Come on, computer. Haters silent after wrongfully accusing us. So I'm curious to hear what that one is about. I listened to a chunk of it and then I had to stop doing it. So I'll go back and listen to the rest of that one. Next up, we get Gizzards. Oh, that was the members only chat. You're not allowed to know about that. Maybe you're a member of Gizzards' channel. Maybe you're not. But if you are, then stuff happens on Wednesdays. That's all I'm saying. I posted a video about this BB gun. I'm going to go ahead and play this video because I needed to drink something, and that's better than a long pause, probably. So we'll open this in a new window, and we'll just play this video eventually. Feel free to chime in. Feel free to answer the poll over on the YouTube side, and feel free to super chat. It's just money. If you don't super chat, it's just going to tariffs. So you might as well super chat. Eventually this video will pop up.
I was able to have this shipped straight to my door because it is a BB gun. If you open up the side panel here, this is where the CO2 cartridges get inserted.
Are you kidding me? This thing won't full screen or what?
Into position. And once they get screwed up into the machine, a little needle pierces the top of the CO2 cartridge and releases the pressure into the system. You just flip this thing back on, you can kind of see some of the springs and things that operate the thing in there. We're going to clip that back together.
This is a screen share. This is a screen share.
Of course, the trigger under here is your charging. And then everything else is just aesthetics. Everything else is for looks. There's the business end.
That's the same diameter in 9mm.
Sight there.
This is the same way you load a 9mm too.
Very nice. There's also a little opening here, which is, I'm assuming, where you would pour in your BBs. This is a Daisy 1700. Very cool looking.
Where'd my mouse go? Okay, there it is. So I couldn't get that thing to go full screen for whatever reason, but nope. How am I going to get rid of this now? I don't know where this one went. So I don't know how to get rid of this one. I guess I'll just try to bring this one back on top of it. Yeah, that's messed up. All right, so what'd you think of that? I seen that on the Daisy. What is it? The Twitter. I think they were twittering about that over on the X, and I was like, dang, I forgot about that. I knew about them. I've seen them back in the old days. They were made from 1991 to 1997, I think. So I can remember them, but I wasn't into Glocks back then, and I never grabbed one. They're CO2 guns, as you could see, and I think they're just single shot. I haven't shot it yet. But anyway, I never bought one. And then they talked about it over on the Daisy thing. So I went over on eBay. What do you think I paid for that? What do you think that thing costs? Patriot says, I got a couple kids that I'm interested in these light up water guns. Dude, those light up water guns are super cool. So they have magazines, right? They have like a drum magazine, and that's what you fill up with water. And then they insert just like a regular magazine. The only issue is there's like a little tube, as you can imagine, that goes down into the magazine, and you have to kind of make sure that you're not like jamming that when you're inserting the magazine. But it's not like the whole tube is in the gun and you have to feed it through. It's just that because of that, you have to kind of be gentle when you're inserting the magazine. But otherwise, then there's battery packs inside the guns, which you recharge. They come with a little recharger, and you have to take them out of the gun to recharge on the couple I have. But then the good ones, you push the trigger forward, or you push the trigger guard forward, really, and that makes the thing drink. So now you can just go up to I haven't done it to a swimming pool because I don't want all the chlorine in there, but you could go up to like a bucket of water, stick the muzzle into the bucket of water, and push the trigger guard forward, and that makes the guns drink. So now they fill up with the pump goes backwards, I guess, and fills up their magazines, their water bladders, full of water, right? When you're done drinking, you just pull the trigger normal and it shoots water. So that's the squirt gun part. And they make them look like, I think mine look like Desert Eagles, or maybe they look like 1911s. I don't really remember. They're clear though, so you don't really see the shape of the gun unless you look real hard. But anyway, there's pistols, and then they also make little AR pistol things that are small. And then they have this little muzzle that has its own battery pack. Like you charge the muzzle separately, and it's separate from the gun, so you don't have to run it with the muzzle thing. But it looks like a suppressor, but it's really just the same. I think it's the same principle as a what are those things called? The things that test the bullet speed. They're not a speedometer. What are they called? Anyway, I think they're the same thing as the bullet test, this bullet speed test. So anyway, they know when that squirt of water is going through them, and they light up. So during the day, they don't look all that impressive, but at night, they look exactly like a suppressor, like the flash coming out the end of a suppressor, and it lights up the water. So the water, as it's squirting through there, is lit up. So that thing's lighting up, and then it lights up the water. Chronometer? Yeah, I can't say that though. Chronometer? Yeah, but that thing. So anyway, it's super cool. I was shooting them when we went camping last time, and I mean, they don't sound anything. They just sound like a squirt gun going, but they look like somebody shooting a suppressed, pistol or something. Anyway, very cool. They're kind of fragile. They probably last a few sessions and then crap out, so I wouldn't spend a fortune on them. All right, so that's the BB guns and squirt gun tangent. Meet the Pressers did a bunch of videos from NRA. I don't know why this one showed up from SHOT Show. Maybe they're just now posting out some of their SHOT Show stuff. Armed Atlas or Gun Club Radio was on Gun. Well, so was Meet the Pressers, but they were all on, what do they call it, Radio Row or something like that at NRA show. Uh-oh. And I don't think he went live as much as recorded a bunch of stuff, and now he's posting the stuff that he recorded. So this is 13 minutes with Jake, or Zeke, I guess. So, yeah, that is what it is. Then you get armed attorneys talking about 5 things to do. I don't know. Are they reaching at this point? Like, was this a necessary video? I don't know. I'm looking forward to them doing some more lives, though. Gun Freedom, or I mean, what am I saying? Rapid Fire Radio goes live on Wednesdays. He also goes live with the 2A Tuesdays with Grace Curley. It looks like I've been missing those, but I was able to sit on a bunch of these Wednesday shows recently again, and Toby does a great job. Of course, they're focused on what's happening in Massachusetts, but he also pays attention to what's going on nationally. Does a great job of keeping up with a whole bunch of his audience is growing, so he gets all kinds of questions from all over the place. It looks like they set up a new studio, and they had Beth Alcazar on from USCCA, and pretty good show. Let's see. Then you get to a couple from Four Boxes Diner. And this one I thought was the most interesting. This one he's talking about the civil rights. Let's see. The Department of Justice civil rights head is appointed by Trump. And she was asked something about civil rights because they had made changes. And the reporter was, I think, probably trying to score points by giving her shit. And she essentially gave them the response that, oh, we're going to go after civil rights infringements. We're going to go after civil rights infringements in the United States. We're going to go after all these states that are infringing people's rights to carry. So I thought that was amazing. So I don't know how many people are given that credit or not, or paying that attention, if that's on their radars or not, but I consider that, if I was rating the poll, if I was voting in the poll tonight, the poll that we got going over here somewhere about, dang, how do I get rid of this? Click on this, maybe? I screwed up and I made this so that I can't get rid of it. Okay, now I can get rid of it. Oh, maybe I can. Anyway, I was trying to get back to the poll. Is there the poll? There's the poll. So how do I get rid of this? Get out of there. There we go. There's the poll. So if you want to vote, I would probably say that what the DOJ Department of Human Rights said would make it a great week for 2A by itself. But is that the only thing that happened this week? Kind of a giant week for 2A. I have to scroll way down because I screwed up. So let me scroll way back down. Oh, I guess I don't scroll down that far. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. I don't know if anybody else talked about it. I know that Toby talked about it on his show on Wednesday, but I don't know if anybody else has talked about it. I'm not saying I watch anybody else, so I really don't know who else is talking about it. You're seeing the people I watch. So then we get Cape Gun Works doing just a short piece of the speeches that they did at the 250th anniversary of the Battle of Lexington that happened earlier. I don't know, whenever that was, the 250th anniversary. Was that the end of May or something? Let's see. Then we get another one from Four Boxes Diner talking about who watches Four Boxes Diner and thinks that he's been getting better than what he used to be. He used to just yell at you all the time, and I think there was a little bit more clickbaity shit back in the day. Maybe it's just a factor of there's more useful shit happening now, or he's getting, he's just getting his shit together more. But I think he's getting better. Patriot is saying April 19th. Thanks. So anyway, this one was him talking about what's her name? Pam Bondi, not defending, or no, won't, or something about the rights of nonviolent felons. Won't seek cert from the Supreme Court. So anyway, he thought that was a good idea, I guess. So again, I don't know. How do we keep track of all the laws that are out there? That's one level. How do we keep track of all the bills to mess with the laws, right? Like the potential laws. How do we keep track of the politicians who come up with that shit and are getting paid by it, or just keeping track of who they are and what they're doing? And then you get to political appointees, I guess. Was that what you'd call her? So there's a lot to keep track of. I don't know how you make a scoreboard to keep track of all that. Looks like DJ's booking out of here. Take it easy. It's too late for DJ. DJ's falling asleep already. Let me know about a dress or something there, dude. So then we get to light overheat. So was this a good week for 2A? Was this a bad week for 2A? Was this a great week for 2A? We have the largest organization by a factor of tenfold, changing from what it used to be to what it's going to be. And you have the member meeting on Saturday of last week. And you have, did you see the turnout? Anybody pay attention to any of these videos about the turnout to the member meeting? And see how participatory the audience was at the member meeting and the outcome of the votes at the member meeting? So in this case, Professor Yamane, I suspect, doesn't have a lot of tolerance for the Christian aspect of everything the NRA is doing, which, depending on your position, is understandable or not. And in this case, it's I don't know how long it's 4-minute video where they spend 4 minutes listening to this guy say some stuff that, very denominational is what I would call it. It's definitely not non-denominational. Like, I don't know what denomination it is, but whatever it is, it's very denomination-ish. So it is what it is. But when somebody doesn't have a taste for it, I suspect it's even worse than when people just don't have a skin in the game or money in the game. Let's see. Then we get 4 Boxes Diner talking about restoration of rights, which is another Trump thing that happened this last week. She Fires did an update, kind of doing where she's at in her world type of thing. We've got another insight, another 40-minute video this time from Professor Yamane. And he didn't have a tripod, so he was just holding his camera up this whole time. The dedication is off the charts. Look how many people are in that room, and look how many videos we got from it. None. Just this one. Unless I'm missing something. I didn't see any tripods in his video. Nobody else in there has any interest or inclination to stream this. So bravo to Professor Yamane for being one of the few, the only one to stream this. This was a conflict of interest resolution, so a 40-minute conversation on, what was the conflict of interest? I think it had something to do with, I can't remember right now, but it was 40 minutes long. And I think this one resolves with them having to take an actual vote with paper. Let's see. Then we'll scroll down a little bit. Oh my goodness. And we get, again, more of the restoration of rights for Second Amendment rights for people who were prohibited possessors. And I forget who that was, but people are looking at that as a win. That was on Monday. Gizzard does his live show on Monday, so if you're interested in not being a member but still enjoying a little bit of Gizzard each week, Monday's the day to do it. Let's see. So Joe Smith's out there. Were you the one asking about the website? There's G23 out there. Welcome. G23 says, I will be streaming live on Rumble. Streaming what live on Rumble? You're corking me? Is that what's happening? You're corking me? Should do gun ASMR videos. I think most of my videos would be considered that. I know a lot of ladies will tell me that they'll watch my 5,000 videos and just turn off the video part and just sit there listening. They'll turn off the lights, maybe have some candles going, and then just have an evening of me saying stuff in videos. What, your ladies don't tell you they watch your videos and do that? But yeah, let me know what you had in mind with that. We'll see what we can do. Let's see. Did you see that one guy that did the review of the AKM wood furniture? Remember that? Oh, G23 saying tomorrow evening. Are you going to be doing a G23 show on Saturdays again? Back for a long time, there was a G23 show on Saturdays. All right, well, so Gizzard goes live on Monday. He had episode 309. And dang it, I clicked on his video. When my mouse doesn't need to be sensitive, it's very sensitive. And the rest of the time, it just glitches and hangs up and lags. Come on. Now I have to scroll way back down. We could take a second to look over at the poll. We got a bunch more votes. We got 25% for a great week, 45% for good week, 25% for okay week, and then 5% for bad week. So at least everybody's on the same general trend, but we have a difference in opinion on if it was a great week or not. Let's see. So I think we got through most of these. I didn't hit the shorts over here, but Professor Yamane posted quite a few shorts from NRA show, and specifically, well, actually more than just the member meeting, but the member meeting in general, which I thought was useful to be able to get an eyeball on how many people were in the room and kind of the mood and the lighting. For example, like sometimes the member meeting is in like a dark room. You can't even see who else is in there with like a low ceiling and stuff. This was more like an auditorium and it was well lit. Then he had some behind the scenes. He has a different opinion about the gun culture or gun community. So some of his perspectives on the show are unique for sure. You're not going to agree with everyone necessarily. But that was pretty much the only coverage I watched because he's not necessarily looking for doodads and gizmos. And when he is, his perspective is a lot different than people that grew up with guns. All right, so there's a lot of shorts I watched this week, which was unusual because I normally do not watch shorts. I guess I was saying when I got clicked over there that Gizzard does his show on Mondays, and if you are interested in doing it, you go to Gizzard's show early. You can watch his Aegis Gun Care promo, and that's what this video is right there. Then we have an hour and 15 minutes of panel discussion from Cape Gunworks, or the Cape Gunworks posted from that 250th anniversary. Dang it. Computer's being a real pain. I don't know why it jumps like that. I didn't even move the little scrolly thing. It's just doing this on its own. It's being super annoying. Now I'm scrolling on the wheel. All right, so this is what I've been trying to get to. A 30-minute presentation from the members meeting that I think is a great illustration of the direction that the NRA is going, and it's inevitable. There's no debate. Anybody that debates it is just not paying attention. But basically, again, from Professor Yamane, 30 minutes worth of John Richardson proposing that the member meetings be streamed, that that there's no transparency in the meeting of the board, and everybody voted on making that be. So I thought that was pretty good. And another reference to Blue to Green podcast, and that's actually where all those shorts were. Then you get the Sunday show that Toby does on the radio, again promoting awareness and education about firearms. He does the podcast. He does a host on a really big radio show every Tuesday, and then he hosts a show every Saturday. the amount of dedication and effort that's put forth by Cape Gun Works is unprecedented. Well, it's not unprecedented. There's other shops that have put that much effort out there, but not in the direction of Second Amendment advocacy. I guess I could think of, why can't I think of the name? The one in New Jersey. I can't think of the name. I'll think of it when I'm not thinking about it. But, he's, of course, been doing that, his radio show for a long time, but he took it to podcast a while back and only posts like a 5-minute summary on YouTube anymore. I guess what I like about Toby is that he's doing all that, but he's also posting it to YouTube. You've got the two big gun people, but they're talking heads. They're more interested in worrying about what their sponsors tell them, and then paying attention to the biggest things, where Toby's paying attention to all the things that are happening. Let's see. Then you get the Forge of Freedom. They went live from the NRA show. 3 guests. Let's see. They were live 3 times from the show with 3 or 4 guests in each show. They did 3-hour-long shows, or in this case, 2 hours and 45 minutes. I think some of the best coverage from NRA show. Professor Yamane gave us the coverage from the members meeting, which was unique and unprecedented, totally needed, and documenting history. Where Forge of Freedom, their attorneys from Indiana, they did a focus on training and education, representation at an NRA show. So theirs are definitely worth checking out. Very good interviews and very good selection of guests. This week was also Dragon Man's first, or opening, I guess, for the season, his first museum tour. So was this a great week for 2A? Was this a good week for 2A? It's a good week. It's an okay week. Whatever. Could take it or leave it. Or is it a bad week? Come on. The opening weekend of Dragon Man's, unprecedented turnout. 171 people show up for a tour of Dragon Man's museum. NRA show happens. Member of the meetings. We got actual coverage of it. We have content creators who bring cameras to the event and show the change of the NRA happening in front of us. Good week? Great week? Come on. So Dragon Man's documenting, and of course they had the machine gun shoot, and then also they have a bunch of new guns and stuff. They had I can't think of the name. They had the suppressor company out there. I can't think of the suppressor company out there doing a suppressor exhibition. Then this is one of the other Forge for Freedom shows. Again, worth listening to. This is Ironclad Change Agents. This time he's talking to a guy who is talking about the era where the social media companies were working for the government in various roles, offering information and putting out or suppressing stuff and doing that. Kind of piecing together from reports and 2020 hindsight what all happened during that period of time. Hopefully these kind of interviews will be used going forward for people who as cautionary tales, I guess, for people who might consider going down those paths again. Then there was when is this? Is this our weekly wrap up last week? That can't be. I don't know why I was posting that. This is old. Why is this up here? I don't know why this is up here. Sisters in Arms had a second part of their conversation with Toby and dude from Goals, and they were talking about the 250th anniversary and that whole thing. So Sisters in Arms Firearm story is Carrie Ann O'Clair carrying on after 50 episodes their TV show in Massachusetts, working with Goals to create awareness and education on the whole issue of Second Amendment and firearms, especially in Massachusetts where they've got the odds stacked against them. Was this different? Is this another video, or is this the same one from before? I don't know. I definitely watched a lot of Four Boxes Diner this week. And you can see more from Professor Yamane. I think all of these are from Professor Yamane. And this was sort of before the show when he went in on Thursday. I think he went in on Thursday and kind of looked around the exhibits. And then on Saturday, he went in and spent his time at the members meeting. Remember, this is the NRA annual meeting, which means the members have an opportunity to change the organization, and exhibits, which is the part that everybody thinks about the NRA show. So the professor went in and got offended by the stuff he saw about Trump and posted about it, and then went home and came back and went to the meeting on the next day. We mentioned Brooke Cheney does a show every Saturday called Mental Health Matters. Was she back? I think that's what happened. I didn't watch this one because I thought she was still gone in Japan or whatever. And then her and DJ posted this and then went live in like 2 seconds. So I totally missed this. I was outside and I came back in and the show had already happened. So I missed that one. Forge for Freedom, though, posted their stuff from the show. Like I say, they had 3 different shows, totally worth listening to. My computer, we're waiting for it to show up here. Eagle Run posted a video about a problem he had with Arrow Precision. And, well, I'm not sure if he's familiar with their situation up there. Then you got Meet the Pressers. They also did some interesting conversations. So the NRA offered a bunch of different podcasters booths at NRA show to have an opportunity to film and record while at the show live. And not everybody took them up on that. Not everybody was able to, I guess. But Meet the Pressers did a good job of going live and then posting it. They definitely interviewed people I wouldn't have, so that was interesting to listen to. I guess this is just some of the videos I posted on the other channel if you want to check those out. This one is an interesting conversation over on Team House with a Marine. I'm always impressed with Marines. Marines get a bad rap because they're always breaking shit and they don't get any money. But they're always they've had some interesting trials, and the Marines that have stood up through those are pretty neat. So this was another interesting conversation. That's that Make Your Bed one, and then there's the Vicar. So I think we're catching up with stuff from last week. So that's the week in guns. I was going to see where we're at. Oh, we're already over an hour. Give me some feedback if we should keep going or if we should just wrap it up. While I'm listening for that feedback, we'll go take a look, and it doesn't look like things have changed too much. Somebody voted for Great Week, so that has changed the dynamic a little bit. So now Great Week for 2A is at 29%. But if after kind of thinking about watching what we looked at already, if you want to change your vote, well, maybe you got to log on to a different account and do it, depending on how you're doing that. Patriot in the Dark. Oh, you're just saying hey to everybody. So Mike White is taken off. Take it easy. All right, so if anybody isn't really saying anything, definitely nobody on Instagram is saying anything. But I am going to take a moment and jump over to the Twitter, because on my Twitter I have a post pinned for Sharon. So if you're not aware, Sharon is a Second Amendment advocate up in Washington State who has been influential in fights over the years, has been in the scene for a while, and has been a support for lots of people behind the scenes over that amount of time. And the last few years, she's taken kind of a knee to deal with some personal stuff. And then recently she let know that she's been dealing with cancer, and that cancer has spread. And she's now dealing with some bills that aren't covered by the insurance. You can imagine the stress and everything dealing with that. So there's a Give, Send, Go campaign that's only not even halfway funded. And I think that for a number of reasons, I'm happy to let people know. I thought Sharon was the dot lady. No, that's Cheryl Todd. Sharon I think they might have gone to school together as young girls, but I don't know if that's behind the scenes or not. But no, Sharon is up in Washington State, and she's very technical. She's helped me personally with some technical things that I've been, working on over the years, or a couple of different projects I've worked on over the years. But she was like I'm gonna just say IT, like a very technical person. And so she had a job that gave her some insight and some awareness to things that she was able to like offer all different kinds of people who are working on things. So again, we've got people that are up on the front lines, and then we've got people that keep those people on the front lines able to do what they're doing, and that's what Sharon has done for a long time. So this is to cover some medical expenses that are the result of cancer spreading. So again, if you're interested in, or if you're able to financially help, it's a campaign. But really, this is an internet thing. So crowdfunding, the first part of that is crowd, and the funding comes after, because part of it is, the real big issue is awareness. So if you're able to share this on your socials, that can be as beneficial, if not, well, as beneficial as the financial support. So anyway, thanks for that. And I keep it pinned on my X because that's the only one that lets me pin stuff. I wish you could pin stuff on YouTube. I'd do the same. All right, well, but that I wanted to mention, and then nobody else is saying anything. So what I was going to do was go over to my different robots. Right now I'm paying $200 a month. Actually, I'm going to quit it really fast because I already had it for like a month. But I paid $200 this month for the real fancy robot from GPT. So I want to get as much use out of it as possible. And I paid for the regular robots, of course, the other robots that I pay for. So I was going to go through some of the robots that I pay money for and ask them what every second matters is. And since we haven't gotten any feedback on that, I guess we'll end the show instead. But I'll just mention, that today is the 2nd of May. So the 2nd of each month is Every Second Matters. Back in 2013, a bunch of us had, in 2013, the live conversations were kind of new. They were about 2 years old on the internet, and they were very large compared to now. Like, there are very few chats that were the size of the old chats. Hundreds of people every night, if not thousands, if there was something going on. And we had Obama's executive actions happen that year. YouTube was just really rocking. Everybody had high-speed internet by then. So it was just an interesting time. And at the end of 2013, because so many of us had been so comfortable having conversations online, and we'd had so many conversations online, that we had gotten to the point in our conversations that we had, I guess, into the nuance of it, or whatever you'd say, that like we had noticed that there was apathy growing after a year of victories. And since a lot of us were old enough to have remembered other periods of apathy where nothing got done, we thought, what could we do to create awareness that these rights aren't just to defend, but we can also take these on the offense, so to speak. We can get rights back. And that was one focus. We wanted to give people who are in states where it might not be appropriate or deemed like acceptable to do gun-related awareness. We wanted to give them a national campaign that they could point at, and say, hey, I'm part of a national campaign here. I'm not just doing something to annoy you. There was a lot of reasons for it. So we created this awareness campaign, and there's nothing to join. There's no rules to it. And it's been an interesting experiment that started again in like 2 or 3 conversations over the period of a couple of nights. One, I think November or something. It was either November or September of 2013. And all these many years later, it's still going. There's still people that post every month. Patriot posts a lot. Who's out there tonight? We got Ozzy almost, I think, every single month. You get RTAC posts a lot. Most every month. You got Voss, who hosts the Saturday overnight mouse party. posts almost every month. And then there's lots of other folks who've carried that baton or who've kept that awareness campaign going. And the people who host live shows for a long time would devote their shows that happened on the second day of the month, at least portions of them, if not the entire show, to having conversations so that folks could use it as an opportunity to self-educate or practice conversations or just have focused conversations about what our second protects. So again, there's no real rules to it other than to create awareness on the second of each month of what our Second Amendment protects. So I want to thank everybody who still participates in that. It's interesting to see it, even though when it dwindles and kind of almost falls apart, to see it come back every once in a while. It's interesting. Hopefully it'll never disappear, but I don't have a lot of interest in trying to make it a thing because it's got good intentions, but it's not mine. It's not my thing to push. It's like kind of like a ball that gets thrown into an audience. It's interesting to see how long it's going to stay bouncing, but it's nobody's ball anymore. Now it's like, it's just part of the crowd's experience and part of the, to see how long, it'll just be a thing that we see how long it'll keep going. It's a participatory thing and a lack of participatory thing all at the same time. All right, with that being said, I guess we'll wrap it up. Like I said, I was going to throw that into the search into my robots to see what they thought of it, what their interpretation of it is, but nobody said anything to do it tonight, and my computers are acting up, so I don't think it would be the best night to do it. It would probably take forever. So with that being said, I'm going to end the Instagram feed because who knows if that's making the connection poor. It probably is, and there wasn't that many people talking on it. What do you know? And then Patriot says, well, that answers why I couldn't find anything on hers for crowdfunding. Yep, that makes sense. I did post a link there, though. It's givesendgo.com/SA Hinchcliffe. I'm not going to try to spell that. It's spelled out over there. Or I should say I'm not going to try to pronounce it correctly because I'm probably saying it wrong, but it is spelled out over there. All right, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for joining us live. If you're listening to this on a podcast or something, we're live on lots of different channels on Friday nights. Ideally, we'll be back to being live more often. I really would like to interview the Ulis see what they thought of NRA show after their experience. I'd definitely like to bring on Professor Yamane and have a conversation with him already. He's got, lots of different reasons for that one. There's other folks out there that would be interesting, I think, to talk with, I think we're at a very, I think we're at a strategically relevant point in history. We have a lot of potential, and unfortunately, we have organizations at the national level that are content with, kind of sitting there. So I don't think we have to be that content. I'm not able to mobilize anything, so I'm just talking shit at the moment. But I really think that we're at a point right now where we've got a lot of potential, and I would definitely be interested in having conversations with people who are out there with the ability at the moment, with the ability to do something now, right? Hopefully we'll see people mobilize, we'll see people activate, we'll see people do something, but I don't know if there's a lot of ambition to that. I mean, is there a lot of fire in the belly anymore? I don't know. Barbecue is saying, do it. I want to know what AI says about E2M. I'm going to end it now just because I already said I'm going to end it, but I may do a separate show just to do that. I don't know if I'll do it tonight. I have to go do 6 more videos for my other deal, make some money. But if it's not extraordinarily late when I get done, and if I still got any energy, I might do a separate show. I have been drinking a Monster all day, so it's possible I'll be up for a while. But a third of the time I drink a Monster, I fall asleep. So all that caffeine doesn't guarantee I'll stay awake. Because it is 8 o'clock, and I'm pretty old, so it's pretty late for me at this point. But appreciate it. You're the only one that even gave us any feedback on that. I do want to do it. I just think that, again, my computer's acting kind of shitty, so I might shut everything down and do it after a restart type of thing. But we will have to do a couple of things at the end of the show here. We'll thank everybody for doing the super chats for sure. We didn't reach the goal, but we did collect a couple of bucks, and that does go. Dang it! I didn't have the banner going. That does go to the servers. We have 3 different servers that run the 270 technically, but a couple of dozen websites that are focused on gun related stuff, and those are educational. Create awareness and potentially, in the future, grow and do even more. And the Patreons make that possible. Of course, the time it takes to put into this is all, based on the fact that there's Patreons out there that care about this stuff. There's channel members that care about this stuff. And of course, the people that are here live, we appreciate that. The super chats, same thing as a Patreon membership. It's financially keeping us on the path here. But we've added a what is it called? A Discord. I don't like Discord at all, but I am in Discord every day, almost all day, for some other projects. So I decided why not have a place for members, Patreons to hang out. Every so often I post a new link to the Discord. I'm pretty sure those links disappear or expire after a couple of days. So if you're interested and you have not got the link, let me know and we'll throw another link out there so there's a fresh one. But join us over there. Let's see. Patriot saying you can use AI to find the launch sequence for Minuteman ICBMs. Quite interesting. Yeah, but there's no more Minutemans. So do it for something that still are out there. Are there still Minutemans? I thought they got rid of Minutemans a long time ago. But yeah, that is interesting. I was just watching a video the other day that was the initiation sequence for an F-18 or something. It's interesting, but there's a reason that pilots go to school. It was 700 steps, and probably the sequence mattered. But they say most everything in the military is 6th grade level. Pretty much everything we do is not that complicated. Sometimes it has lots of consequences, but very rarely is it very complicated. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to end it, and we'll click on this, click on this.
Captain, a vessel approaching.
On screen.
We're being hailed.
Every weekend over at gearwebsites.com, our online store, we have free Patch Friday. And that means that every order placed on our store on Fridays is going to include at least 1 free patch. So that's every order with no coupons, no minimum order, no codes needed. You place the order on Friday, and when it arrives to you, it's going to have at least 1 free patch. Your support means a lot to us, and financial support is critical. So thanks again to the people who keep us online through purchases at gearwebsites.com.
Shit. Ninja? Ninja! Ninja!
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.